Okay, y'all, part 4. I just had to redo this whole thing over. I'm sorry it's taking so long, but it's taking the longest time to upload. I just want to tell y'all, thank y'all for listening to my story. Like I said, it doesn't matter to me if it gets out to one person or a million people. I am tired of hiding what I've been hiding. And now that the truth is out, it's time for me to tell my story. You will not be able to silence me. I'm not going for it. Court is February 19th of this year. I'm not playing with nobody. I told everybody it is like it is what it is, and everything is just automatically now making sense. Like I said, none of the stores wanted to press charges. It's in the report. She's on the phone. The police officer is on the phone with one of the stores. They don't want to press charges. Like I said, she released me even when I went to the psych ward. She let me go with my bag. She let one bag stay at the store. And then later on, she charged me with stealing. And when I say retaliation, hate crime, cyberbullying, and I've been fighting the system for a long time, since 2019, I feel like since the false arrest, 2019, yes. I have been fighting against the Columbia Police Department, fighting against the school board, fighting against the sheriff department, fighting against the Columbia mayor's office, the government's office, the judicial system in itself for years. I went through retaliation, hate crime, cyberbullying, and I'm going to give you a timeline of every event and why it is all making sense to me now. And if you don't see premeditation, if you don't see retaliation, if you don't see cyberbullying, if you don't see attempted murder, if you don't see that the evidence is there, that they will try to pin cases on you and set you up to be a failure and fuck you around and almost get away with it, then you will never understand my story. Maybe this is not for you. But I know this is for somebody. But I know. Hold on. I sit up there and think about my daughter, my youngest daughter, being at West Junior a couple years back, in 2022, 2023. And she passed out. They called me, Melita Walker, the principal, called me and said, hey, you need to get to the hospital. Your daughter just passed out, threw up everywhere and passed out. We don't know what's wrong with her. She just came from second period. So I rushed to the university hospital, and for like 8 hours, she's unconscious. 3 days, they don't know. They doing every test in the world. They don't know what's wrong with her. Nothing comes back. Negative, everything negative. So they decided to send me and my daughter to the hospital in St. Louis, Children's something. By the way, I thank them for everything that they did for me and my family. We got down to the bottom of it. But the moral of the story is they did the same MRIs and tests and scans that Columbia did, and they couldn't find anything. And then when they did it, when St. Louis did it, they found that it was a horse tranquilizer, some type of pill, horse tranquilizer made for horses. The principal, Melita Walker, told me that my daughter ate breakfast that morning, ran around track for first period, went to second period, and the teacher asked her what her name was because she was in the wrong class. My daughter turned around and threw up everywhere and fell back and hit her head and passed out. When my daughter finally came to, she told them that, she had some breakfast. There was oatmeal or something. There was a white substance on the top of her oatmeal, and it tasted funny. She took a couple bites and it tasted funny, so she threw it in the trash. And then after that, she doesn't remember anything. Now, mind you, I'm not on any type of horse tranquilizers. I don't do that type of shit. I'm not playing them type of games. Don't play with me. But I know that my child was in their care. Another incident that I had with the same principal, Melita Walker, who has a lawsuit against the Columbia Public School District at West Junior. My son was jumped by 3 boys. He ended up whooping all 3 of their ass, okay? He ended up running away, and they called me saying, hey, your son just ran away. We need you to come to the school. As soon as I get to the school, I'm in the hall little space. This Officer Ash, this black teacher who owes on child support, and a couple teachers, and Glenn Cobbin Sr. My son walks through the door. I'm over here. Where's my son? I need to know where my son is. Yes, I was irate. Because you just told me my son ran away. He was just jumped by 3 boys. Fuck yeah. Anyways, Melita Walker comes out of nowhere. I guess she heard my voice out of spick and span. And comes out of there, flies out of the office, and is like, bitch, you got me fucked up. Get your ass off of the property. This is the principal. And I say, bitch, you got me fucked up. Put me out, type shit. And she leaps over the crowd and tries to attack me. And if it wasn't for Glenn Cobbin Sr. pushing her back into the crowd, she would have attacked me, hit me. But anyways, from that incident, I ended up getting kicked off of all school properties for a year. For what I still don't know to this day. Another incident that happened with my youngest son, who was at Benton Elementary, and he was on the school with another black minority kid. And a white kid pulled out a box cutter on them, called them a nigger, and told them they were going to kill him because he snitched or something. This little white kid was never arrested, never suspended, never expelled, never nothing. But the principal did have the nerve to call me, audacity to call me, and tell me, Miss Barnes, if it makes you feel any better, it was not a knife, it was a box cutter. I told the bitch, that's even worse. The moral of the story is what I told her is, if it was a black child or mine, and the shoe was on the other foot, and my son pulled out this knife, I feel like my son would have been in jail. He's not. Like I said, I've been going to the Columbia Police Department and dealing with them for a long time. I have police reports with the police department, with the East Side Boys, fucking with me and my family. I have complaints against the police department for several different things. I have 5 against them. 4 were found sustained on my behalf. They even went into my house one time, illegally searched it without a search warrant while my 14 and 12-year-old was there. And put them in a lineup outside of the house. It made them feel like they were nothing. My son, my oldest son, who is incarcerated right now for unaliving his friend, allegedly, that did not happen. My son did not do it. I know that for a fact. But I have a paper trail of how many times I've called the police, made a police report about these same Eastside Boys harassing my family and continuously harassing us as people. They ended up shooting up my house, shooting my daughters. My 13-year-old was shot in the face, swallowed the bullet, broke her jaw. My 16-year-old was grazed in the arm. It was 47 rounds in this frame house. Frame house. And they were sending a message to tell my son, it doesn't matter what state you're in, we can still get to your family regardless. I didn't know until I got to the detective's office the night of the incident is when Officer Gilstrap told me that he had been heard songs about my son's name in songs on YouTube from the East Side Boys years ago. He just didn't know who Jordan Brantley was. Now, mind you, my son was 14 at the time. So if you heard these songs years ago about them wanting to murder my son, why wasn't nothing done years ago? Because all this could have been stopped years ago. And here it all comes down to this. As I sit up here and I think about everything that I'm going through, I know that this is a calling for me to come out and just tell my story. And not only get my story out there, but get my son's story out there too, to let the world know that they will try to attack, kill, steal, and destroy, and manipulate the system, and they will do just that and get away with it if you allow them to. But stay tuned if you want to hear about part 5, because, baby, I got a story, and I can't give up on this story because it's a timeline that goes with these people. And now you will understand why a person tried to unalive me, and maybe you'll understand why they unalived your family members,